All right. Welcome everybody. It is 5:30 on November 19th, and this is Alberta Weather Live podcast. I'm just going to share my screen here so that you can see what's happening. Here we go. All right. So let's do this thing. So we are definitely into the wind now. I'm just gonna walk through the tabs here, but before I do that, I'm going to make sure I put this out on the as the lights flicker. I'm gonna make sure I put this out so that people can see it. Let me just make sure I can do that. All right. So, like I said, we're already getting lots of flickering lights, um, and there are lots of power outages currently, and they're spreading on Vancouver Island, um, and on the lower mainland, and down in Washington State. Just gonna put this out here too. Okay, do that. All right. So, if you're watching from Vancouver Island, then you should be able to see um, that things have already started picking up. Right now, we're still northeast winds to east. Really interesting here in the Alberni Valley. I'm just looking out my window here, which points east towards Mount Arrowsmith. Um, and it's pretty interesting because I think we might actually be close enough to the mountain that we're not getting, uh, as the lights continue to flicker, we're not getting the gusts necessarily, but in Beaver Creek, closer to or out further in the valley, I think they are getting a lot more in the way of um, wind. So I'm just going to show you. So this is the outage list on BC Hydro right now. So this is going up. It was 10,000 about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. It's now 11, 12,000 thereabouts. So this is certainly going up. And if I look at the map, outage map, there we go. We'll be able to see those across Vancouver Island. There we go. So lots of outages, and for Port Alberni in particular, there's quite a lot out here. So looks like all of Sprout Lake is without power right now, and most of Beaver Creek is without power, and most of Cherry Creek is without power. So everywhere but the city of Port Alberni right now is without power, although it is flickering. So this might be a short broadcast. Um, Looking out to other locations, Nanaimo, we'll just zoom in there, see what's happening. Looks like it's not too bad, just some small ones, some out Chase River, um, a few out on the Gulf Islands, Lake Cowichan. Let's see. I think they're probably going to have quite strong winds. It looks like Yubu is out of power in Lake Cowichan. Let's go down and look at Victoria. Looks like west of Victoria, but not quite Souk. That portion is out of power. And then if we go to the west coast, We got some power outages in Ucluelet. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like just on the west side of the harbor. Looks like Long Beach is out of power. Looks like all of Tofino is out of power. So lots of power outage already. Um, that makes me wonder if we are seeing any power outages that are affecting um, the wind gauges at the airport. I'm just going to get rid of this guy there. There we go. Just so I can see the chat if there's anybody in the chat. So let's go look at the wind gauge for there we go for Tofino Airport. Okay, this website can be funky sometimes. There we go. So there's Lapérouse Bank. So Lapérouse Bank, which is off the coast of Long Beach, basically directly west, about probably about 50 kilometers, maybe 25 kilometers west of Long Beach. It is gusting to 54 knots, which is just under 100 kilometers an hour. And the wave height is 4 meters, which is just about 10, 15 feet or so. South Brooks gusting to 44, so not quite as strong there. 48 at East Delwood, Solander Island, 32, so not too bad on the North Island right now. But if we look down at Sheringham Point Lighthouse, gusting to 40. Race Rocks gusting to 49, so we're already up close to 100 kilometers an hour down towards Victoria. Discovery Island, 30 knots. Victoria is at 24. So right now it looks like the top winds are from Lapérouse Bank, right off of the west coast, 54 knots, which is 100 kilometers an hour. So that's plenty. On the Georgia Strait side, English Bay is at 25. Bolinas Island, which is just off of Parksville, is 39 knots. And it's east southeast. So the wind might start to be coming around from the east to the southeast. I'll just Entrance Island, that's Nanaimo, is still going straight east. Vancouver Harbor, there's nothing in there. Just want to see what House Sound has. There we go. House Sound, Pam Rocks north, so straight out of House Sound at 44, which is 80 kilometers an hour. So yeah, plenty strong out there. The ferries will be done for tonight, and yeah, we can imagine that they won't be running again until tomorrow morning. There's another flicker of the lights. Okay, we'll just have a look at the satellite image. You can see the storm is just revved right up. Very tight swirl. Yeah, you can't make it look more than a hurricane like that around here anyway. So that's really something. And that is 1 o'clock. That'd be 5 o'clock, 5:20. So just about 20 minutes ago. So that's pretty current. And yeah, we're starting to feel it, certainly. I'm just going to see what the winds are like right now at Alberni Airport, um, because it might be far enough away from the mountain to be getting some strong winds. Let's see here. Wind, Yeah, look at that. Hey, hun, 5 o'clock, Alberni Airport, 65 kilometers an hour. So, so we're not getting anything here. We haven't had anything higher than 20 kilometers an hour, maybe, in the city. But the airport is at 65, so 34 kilometers an hour, gusting to 65, dead east. So that's kind of what I was wondering might happen. We have 10 kilometers an hour right now. Yeah, so we're basically in the lee of Mount Aerosmith, and the airport is getting all of the wind. So that's good. That means it'll be officially recorded. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So it's getting it out at the this is gonna be funny because there's gonna be people in Port Alberni in the city that are gonna be like, "There's nothing happening. There's no storm." And meanwhile, the poor folks out in Beaver Creek are getting blown down. So there you go. At least it'll be officially recorded. I can guarantee you that that easterly 65 will be the top. I've never seen a wind value at the airport of East and in a record. I would guarantee that this is probably going to be a record for this day, November 19th. And it'll probably be one of the only records in the Alberni airport and probably in any of the records going back. I'm not sure how many years the winds go back, probably back to the 60s at least. Um, where the record is actually east. So that's yeah, that's pretty interesting. And it's 6 degrees. What's the temperature, Mom? Can you see? It's probably warm here too, but 6 degrees. Yeah. So we came up, but yeah, not getting the wind. Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. So here's the look at it just spinning. So this is the I'm gonna make sure that this is updated here. And let's do just the past 12 hours. So this is the satellite image for the last 12 hours. We can see, I want to do the large one, thank you very much. We can see it spinning there, so I'm just going to let it load. On, there you go. So pretty impressive. Maybe let's do a little bit more, 24 images. Pretty impressive low. That's quite some. All right. Hey, if you're watching something into the chat, say hello so I know who's there. Um, but yeah, we're definitely in the thick of it. Looks like Port Alberni is at least the city is escaping the worst of it. Just because it is an easterly, the mountain is blocking it. We're in the lee of the mountain, but the airport, which is just 10 kilometers away, as the crow flies, has gusts to 65 kilometers an hour. So I'll just show you that on the map here. Actually, let's look at Google Earth. So let's look at um, so I'm just going to show you where just the distance. So this is all it needs. So if we have my house is right here. So my house is about right there. And Mount Aerosmith is directly to the east. So from there to there, you can see the white caps there. So directly to the east is Mount Arrowsmith, and the airport. So what is that? Mount Arrowsmith is 14 kilometers away. The airport is another 13 kilometers away, and that's enough. Well, if we go east, yeah, it's about 10 kilometers if we're doing it side to side. But there you go. So that's all it takes to get enough fetch in there for the wind to come down off the mountain and get to the airport. So I'm just gonna make sure that that's the airport. Sure it is. Yeah. So that's the airport. That's where the actual official station is. There's also a station at Robertson Creek, which is Robertson Creek Fish Hatchery, which is just in here, I believe. Where are you? Fish Hatchery. I think it's right there, something like that. Anyway, that's where the fish hatchery is, and there's a long period weather station there. It's a little unreliable now, unfortunately, but we'll have to take a look at what that station produces today. Hopefully, they have a working wind gauge there. But certainly at the airport, you should actually be able to see the yeah. There's where are you? You should be able to see the station. There it is right there. There's the weather station at the airport. Um, so that is how far from Mount Arrowsmith? That is 26 kilometers, and it's about south, or sorry, to the northwest of Mount Arrowsmith. So it's getting the wind, and the city of Port Alberni isn't. Lucky for us, I guess. But there you go. So just going to go back to the outages map here, see if it has changed at all. Looks like it has. Yeah, we're up to 12,000 customers without power on the North Island, 4,000 on the South Island. So we're already looking at 16,000 customers without power just on Vancouver Island, and another 1,500 or so on the Sunshine Coast Lower Mainland. So I would expect these will continue to rise. See maybe if we can look at the some other stations. Maybe let's look at Nanaimo. So Nanaimo Airport. Oh, it's got two weather alerts. What's it got two for? Oh, that's probably the yeah ocean water. I'm surprised that Environment Canada didn't put out a weather advisory for tides on the Alberni inlet side, but that might be because the tide is going to actually be on the low, going to the low side at 8 o'clock tonight. So that's just lucky. But let's look at the wind here. Oh, looks like Highway 4 is closed. So that's guys. Nanaimo doesn't look too bad. Nanaimo Airport is 5 o'clock. It reported gusts to 34 clicks. 4 o'clock was 38, so that's not too bad. Let's go look at Victoria. And that one, there we go. So past 24 hours, this is at the airport, so it should be fairly exposed there. Right now, east northeast. That's weird. That's a weird direction. That is. East northeast 32 doesn't have gusts in there, so that's pretty strong for sustained winds. So probably gusting to 40 or so kilometers per hour, but not too bad. So that's good. Let's look at Comox. So this is the Air Force Base at Comox, and it's east southeast 28. So right now it looks like Port Alberni is the top for. Oh, I should look at Tofino. I haven't looked at Tofino yet. So Port Alberni so far is the strongest gusts that have been seen. Yeah, even Tofino. So you can see Tofino 5 o'clock, no report. That's because they're probably out of power. So we won't be getting any information from Tofino Airport, unfortunately. That's too bad. Hopefully, we get that later on. But for now, it looks like Port Alberni has the highest winds. So I guess yay for me and us. Um, all right. What else we want to look at? I just want to see the tides, how we're doing there. Um, we should be headed down the slope here towards low tide, so that's good. But I just want to see what the barometer is at. So we're at 995 hectopascals or millibars. Um, we started at 1010, so that's down 10, 15 millibars or hectopascals since this morning. Um, that's not super low. I mean, we've gone certainly much lower than that. But the just because it is such a strong storm out in the Pacific, it's at 950, which is just an amazing difference in a a relatively short distance. That's why we're seeing those winds. Yeah, it's going down still. Let's just look at the. Let's just look at the graph here for the barometer. There it is. So the barometer is going um, down, obviously. So you can see all day it's been on the downward slope, pretty consistent. It's a pretty consistent slope there. And we're at 9959 kilopascals or 995.9 hectopascals or millibars. So there you go. And we peaked up once the wind came in. There's that 7 degrees, and now it's come down a little bit. But we definitely have come up since this morning when we were below zero. Actually got down below zero this morning, minus zero point 0.8. Yeah, so lots going on. I'm expecting that our winds should build in the next couple hours here. So it's 6 o'clock right now. So this is just the point where we're going to start to see the stronger winds. We should see that build up to potentially 90 kilometers per hour by about 8 o'clock, and then it should drop off a little bit after 8 o'clock into 9 o'clock, and then hopefully overnight and tomorrow morning, still pretty strong, so 40 to 60 kilometers an hour. But the peak will be tonight at around 8 or 9, I would think, probably 8 o'clock, if that's still what the model's thinking. So, sorry. Yeah. My wife was just looking at the wind gauge, and it is basically quiet. Um, it's calm, and it's from the north, which is pretty weird. Yeah, so you can see on the website, it's 1.3 kilometers per hour. I guarantee it's not that at the airport right now. So pretty crazy setup. Never seen anything like this before. Um, but hey, something new and exciting. I'm just going to put this out. Ba-ba. Go. I'm just going to make a little update here on the website so that folks know they can tune in. So here it is behind the scenes as I do this. Ba, 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 ba. So we're gonna have dinner here pretty soon. We got lasagna in the oven, so that will be the end of my stream when the lasagna is ready. Hopefully the power stays on while we're doing that. Let me just grab this. Go. It's pretty weird to say that Port Alberni has the top wind so far when probably most of the people in Port Alberni have no idea because it is calm. Um, Live stream on now. All right, gonna save that guy and that will go out. All right, so again, welcome everybody. If you're on the stream, please do say hi in the chat. We're checking out the farm as it spins out there. We're going to look at some of the weather values that we have from the buoys out off of the coast. Here's the radar, which I haven't looked at yet. There is going to be rain along with this, and there might be some snow too. Just if there's any pockets of cold air out there, there might be some snow. So that'll be interesting to see if it comes. Um, but there's the radar. You can see it's really pushing on the island now. Nice band of rain coming up right across the island, all the way from Tofino all the way down to Victoria. So that'll be coming into Port Alberni here pretty soon, and on the east coast within the next half an hour or so. So that's the radar. We'll look again at the outages map for BC Hydro. There's going to be plenty of people without power. There's already, I'll just update it here. So we're up to 16,000 without power on the North Island, 9,000 almost on the South Island. So that's getting up towards 25,000 people. And if we look at the map, it is mostly on the island, and including Port Alberni. So here's the interesting thing. So I just said that Port Alberni has the top wind speed that I've been able to see so far on the island. We might not be able to see it after for the 6 o'clock, which is just 6 now, because the power is out. I believe at the airport. Let's go see where's the airport. Oh, maybe not. It's just on the edge. We'll see if the airport is actually out of power. It may not be, but this is because the wind is directly east, which is really unusual. I've never seen anything like it. There's Mount Arrowsmith. There's the ridge, which is directly east of Port Alberni. I did a live stream from Cameron Lake when I was coming home this afternoon around 5 o'clock. You can see that on my channel. I was right here on this little point of land. which is Beaufort Park, and the wind was coming from right to left there from the east, which is really unusual. But you can see that Cameron Lake is basically east-west oriented. So those easterly winds are just funneling through there really bad. And apparently that road now is closed going east. So that's not a huge surprise. But yeah, this is Mount Arrowsmith and the ridge of Mount Arrowsmith. What appears to be happening, the Port Alberni is just close enough to the mountain that we are getting no wind whatsoever. It's almost dead calm. But out in the valley, you can see all these power outages. They're getting winds up to 60 kilometers per hour already, and it's probably going to be more than that pretty soon. So lots of power outages. There's Qualicum Beach. That's probably a large number of the people that are without power. That's almost all of Qualicum Beach. Looks like it's out of power. Whiskey Creek is out of power. That's along Highway 4 to Port Alberni. Let's go look at Nanaimo. Nanaimo's not too bad. Looks like just Jingle Pot, the north portion of Jingle Pot is without power. But I imagine the North Island. So it was saying that Vancouver Island North is out of power. So let's see here. There's only a few out. Port McNeil. See what Port Hardy is. Port Hardy is okay. Was, a few out in Was. So maybe Gold River. Let's go see Gold River. Yeah, Gold River is out of power. So there's definitely outages all along. The big one here is definitely the West Coast. So all of Tofino looks like it is out of power. Ucluelet, there are some small power outages there. Bamfield is out of power. Looks like Sarita is out of power. Poet Nook. Um, Looks like Nitnat is out of power, so probably the whole connector. There's one line, and I know this because I'm on it. There's one line that goes from Port Alberni, the substation that's just to the west of me, couple blocks. There's one line that goes from there. It runs along my street, and it goes all the way down the inlet to Banfield. Um, Generally, it's very reliable because it's a major line and they keep it pretty. Um, there's lots of interconnections, but once it leaves Port Alberni, it's really common that one line is cut. So that's probably the reason why Banfield and Sarita are out of power, and maybe Nitnat as well. So far, though, Port Alberni is doing okay, likely because of this easterly flow that we're seeing. So our main power line comes in over Horn Lake, right around there. Yeah, so right around here is where the power line comes in for Port Alberni. So right now there's no power outages up there, so that's good for us, I guess. Um, okay, we'll go look at the current conditions off of the coast, see if these have changed. So South Brooks gusting to 44 knots, and La Perouse gusting to 54. This is 5 p.m., so this is still the same as before, so it hasn't updated yet. Oh, we have some folks who are, yeah. So lots of power outages. I think the lasagna is almost ready, so I am going to sign off here. Thank you everybody for watching, and stay safe out there. Um, we got a ways to go before this will be over. All right, see you later.